Welcome folks to the Allan Park Conservation Area. I discovered this place, I believe in 2003, accidentally as I was driving by, and I tell ya, it's so beautiful and peaceful here. It didn't take long to become a daily destination. I spent a lot of time here, and it didn't matter what time of year it was with the weather, and summertime, winter, whether it was raining or sunny, didn't make any difference. I come here just to get away from everything. It's so peaceful. You're in your own world basically when you're out here. There's lots of trails everywhere. Go for a walk, and that all changed in 2011. I was out here on my daily trip, and my car caught fire. Now, what was happening was the starter was going in it, and when you turn the key, the gear on the motor pops out, engages with the gear on the motor, the ring gear, and spins, and that's what starts your engine. Well, what was happening was the plunger would pop out and start spinning, and then it would release, but it would keep spinning. So it wasn't staying engaged with the ring gear on the motor, so it took a while to get the car to actually start. And I think what had happened was something overheated somewhere, wiring, because I started getting this weird burning plastic smell, and after a few seconds there was burning plastic dripping down from underneath the dashboard. So the parking lot was packed with cars this day, and a couple guys just got there, and I was trying to push my car out into the middle of the parking lot so I wouldn't damage the cars around it when it burned. And these two guys that just showed up, they had water bottles with them, and they kind of gave me a hand putting the fire out, and everything was good. So I let it sit for a little while just to make sure, and tried again and again. It took a little while to get it going. I finally got the car started. So I sat there just to make sure, and everything seemed fine. So I started heading home, and I had that burning plastic smell, but if you ever smell burning plastic, it gets into your nose and it just stays, It takes a while for that smell to go away, so I just assumed I was still smelling it for whatever reason. But then as I was driving down the road, I saw the burning plastic dripping down again. It's like, oh crap. So now I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I got nobody around to help. So I lost my car, and the issue I had was, it was an old, well, not old car, but older and expensive car, cheap to fix and stuff like that, and the insurance company didn't give me enough to get a new car with, basically. And on my income, I could either afford to own a car or I could afford a car loan. I couldn't afford both, so maintenance and insurance and everything. So I looked around for several months just trying to find something, but nothing really came up. So I ended up buying a bicycle just so I could get out to the conservation area again, because it's got such a draw on me. I need to be there once in a while anyways, even if it's not every day. So I bought this bike, and I made a trailer for it and custom built the frame on the back of the bike to tow this trailer and everything, and that was good for a little while, and my body started rebelling. It didn't like me doing that much physical activity, so every once in a while I'd end up using my roommate's scooter, I think, just to go to Tim Hortons and get a coffee or something. But it got to the point where I was using it more and more, and I decided instead of wearing her scooter down, I might as well just get my own. Cars at the time, unaware of how much they were. So I found this place that actually rents them, and that's where the ES950 came from. That's the model that they gave to me. It was on their showroom floor. It's the only one they had, but that was fine because I liked it anyways. And I rented it for 7 months, 8 months. I think it was 7 months. And basically I was paying $200 a month for it. And I got thinking about it. I said, well, if I'm going to pay that much for it, I might as well just buy it. So I'm pretty sure the financing would be about the same price, which it was. I inquired about it, and they had a price tag for it but it had a sale tag on it, so apparently when it was on the showroom floor, it was on sale, so it was $1,000 less, and they gave it to me for that price. Plus, because I rented it for so long, they took a couple months rent off the purchase price, which was kind of cool. So for the first little while, I didn't do anything to it because technically I didn't own it yet. I was still financing it, but then it became mine, and that's when I started doing the modifications. I put the light bar on it for better visibility. So now I was stuck with trying to find a way out to the conservation area. So I was still able to ride occasionally. The problem I was having was if I bike out there, then I'm in no shape to do anything for about 3 days afterward. That's how physical it is. But the other part is when I do go out there, by the time I get there I'm so exhausted I can't really do anything. So I usually lay down, and sometimes I'd sleep for a little bit. I'd just, lay there for a couple hours or whatever, just enjoying the peace and watching the fishermen or whatever. So the pond itself, I call it a lake because technically by the definition of a lake, it is a lake. It's got water flowing in and out of it, but it's actually a trout pond. It's stocked every year for the purpose of fishing, but it's not really the pond itself. It's go in the trails. There's rarely anybody else around. Every once in a while you'd see somebody go through on a horse or someone walking their dog or whatever, but it's nice. And I can't think, 2006 I believe it was, my friend and his two boys, they'd never been out here before, so at that time I still had my car, so I started bringing them out here, and they just loved it. They're nature crazy like I am, so it's a new place they'd never been, and they started catching bugs, catching snakes, catching frogs, or whatever was available at the time. They just loved it out there, and we spent a lot of time, and eventually they became the subjects of my photography. At that time was more documenting the nature that's in different plants and whatever, insects, animals that are in the area, so that was my main interest. I'd never photographed people before, especially kids, fast kids moving around, trying to keep up with them. So it became a challenge, and turned out to be the best period of my life. It was something I was really, really good at. I was very impressed by the results. So this went on for several years, and then after I lost my car, of course, that couldn't continue, but it was getting more difficult to keep up. But my illness was getting worse and worse, and when the kids are exploring off trail, and it was hard to keep up with them, climbing through the bushes or whatever. So I just kind of gradually faded out, but the need to be out here just never went away. So when I couldn't bike out here all the time anymore, I started looking for a new way to get here. Now by taxi, it would cost me $20 each direction, so that really wasn't much of an option for me. So I come up with this idea. The issue with using the mobility scooter is I'm not exercising my legs any. So when I sit for long periods of time, my legs get really stiff. Well, actually my whole body gets really stiff. That's why when you see me out on my daily tour or whatever, I'll stop, I'll take a break, I'll get off the scooter and walk around. That's why I'm doing that, just get some motion in my legs, make the stiffness go away. So anyways, I come up with this idea of making not really a scooter, more like an electric bike, four-wheel drive or four-wheel electric bike that I could pedal, or I could run electrically like the scooter and use the pedals to recharge the batteries. And I had so many different ideas that I wanted to do, and I started building them, buying the materials for it, and then I noticed one day a picture of the monster on the internet. I had seen it before, but the price tag on it at that time was about $12,000, so I really wasn't interested. But I stumbled across it again, and I decided to give it another look, and the price would have come down to the $7,000 range. so it was a little closer to being in reach. The ES950, its original purchase price was about $4,000, so it's roughly twice the price. But it was, to me, it was within reach. So just on a whim, I went to the bank just to see. And I asked about a loan, and within 5 minutes, I was smiling. I had tears in my eyes. I was granted permission for this loan. It just blew my mind. All my life, I've always had to settle with what's available, what I could afford. This was the first time ever actually getting something that I wanted. So I was pretty excited about it. Unfortunately, I'm not all that excited anymore, considering the problems I've had with the Monster. And at this point, I kind of wish I had used that money to put towards this thing that I wanted to build. I'd already bought the motor for it. That cost me about $1,000. I had a whole bunch of electronics parts that I had bought. And the external batteries that I bought for the Monster were going to be used for it. The reason I bought them first is because I'm no good at estimating sizes of things, so all the expensive parts, the main parts basically, I had to have first so I could actually build the frame around them to accommodate their size. And I was planning on 6 or 8 batteries total, so I just got the batteries so I know what I'm gonna need space for, and just multiply that by 8 basically, or 6, whatever. So I had a whole bunch of all these ideas, and I bought the Monster, and I started seeing what it was capable of. So I decided that this is what I'm going to use to get to the conservation area, because it's perfect for the conditions out there. It would be awesome to drive through the trails. It's just a matter of getting it there. I don't have a car, don't have a trailer. I did ask somebody in town that had a trailer, and he was worried about insurance and being sued if something happened, if it fell off the trailer or whatever, which I understand. So I had to do what I could do. So I started modifying the Monster, putting the second set of batteries on, and the first summer that I bought the Monster, 2016, I started testing it for distance. The total distance that I'd need to go, I knew it would go that far, but the problem is there's a lot of steep hills. In the last video, I showed the time lapse of me driving up and down the hills. It doesn't really give you a sense of just how steep the hills are. There's a couple that are really just nasty, and the entire road where I come up to the stop sign just before that, and the dirt road just after that, just before the first hill, is the only part of that entire road that's actually level. The rest of it, you're either going up or you're going down. And these really super steep hills, they drain the batteries really quickly. So what I was doing with the testing is I'd go out 1 or 2 concessions, and then I'd turn around and come back and I'd see how much battery power I had left. And then next time I went out, I'd go a little bit farther and come back, and just judging by that. As far as I got as far as Railroad 3 at the stop sign there. That's as far as I went, but I knew just by how close I was to the conservation area that I would have enough left over to get there and back. But I doubted that I would have any battery power to go play while I'm out there. So that's where the second set of batteries come in. The original batteries will get me there and back, and the second set of batteries I can use for driving around while I'm out there, exploring the trails. So that's what all the modifications were all about, and everything that I was doing. The roll bar extension and the trailer hitch weren't really related. The trailer hitch I needed anyways. I wasn't going to be using it to make these trips. The roll bar extension was basically just to raise the cameras up because my head was taking up too much space in the video. But it turned out to be a good thing because I put the floodlight over top, and that was mainly for the camera so they can see at night. But it turned out to be quite an asset when I went out to the conservation area too. This series is based on what it is that I'm doing out here. This is an introduction to what this series is about, and showing how I prepared for it and what I had to do just to get back out here again. I was able to make 4 trips in total. This first one was more or less a test run out in the daytime. I did a trip at night, I did a trip in the rain, and I think I did another daytime trip. I can't remember for sure. At this point in time, it's been a while since I've got these videos, so catching up. So welcome to my series.